Hello, everyone, and welcome to Cherisse Is On. I am your host, Cherisse Stevens. I'm so excited that you are joining me for another episode of Cherisse Is On. If it is your first time, welcome. We are all about inspiration, motivation, and celebration. Yes, we are a family. We come together weekly to discuss so many things I believe that will help you to grow and become the best version of yourself. So, if you are returning, hey fam, thank you so much for coming back and letting others know about the Cherisse Is On podcast. Well, you know, I always say that you are welcome, welcome, welcome to share, share, share. And now you can watch us via YouTube. Yes, so if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, Google, Anchor, that's great. But you can now watch me, yep, you can, on the YouTube channel, Cherisse Is On. Make sure that you subscribe and let your family and friends know that they can come and get some inspiration weekly. And so, you know, if you listened to last week, you know I was celebrating my birthday all month long, actually, right? The whole month of March was about celebration. We celebrated women from around the world. We celebrated spring arriving, my birthday. So many milestones were happening. My husband's birthday. So many things happening in the month of March. But now we are in April, the first quarter of the year, all right, is moving. We're moving into the second quarter of the year, and I'm excited. And today, I have a question. It's simple. It's a simple question that we ask each other in passing or on the phone, or we text this simple question, but I don't really know if we get a real answer. I want to talk about that today. And the question simply is this: how are you? How are you? And so, can I ask you, how are you? The year is moving, things are happening. I know a lot has happened in the last 2 years. Can we take a moment to sigh, to breathe in, breathe out? Oh, and then ask the question, how am I doing? And I thought about that as I was preparing this week for so many things that I have coming up, and I'm so excited about it. And I was like, girl, take a moment, sit down, relax, and assess. How are you? You know, I want to share something that's really, really personal, and I really haven't talked about it in public. People that know me, my family, they know this, but I haven't really shared it. And it was last year, December, when my brother, my oldest brother, got sick with COVID. And if you know my brother, he's a strong, strong man, right? So we were like, oh, okay, we will talk to him, FaceTime him. You're going to pull through this. But God decided to take him home. It was the most difficult thing that I had experienced in a long, long time. And even, you know, the months are rolling and I have my days. I have days where I cry. I miss him so much. Then I have days where I laugh because he was so funny. He was my biggest cheerleader, right? I was his little sister. He was the oldest brother. And look, he kept me in check. If anybody could keep Cherisse in check, it was my brother Joey. And you know what? Since his passing, some days I'm not good. I have to sit down and say, today is a day. You're having a moment. Okay? Or you had a day. Whatever it is. I've learned to embrace those emotions. And that is what I want you to do. I want you to take a moment today to reflect and ask yourself the question, how are you? How are you processing what's happening in your life? What's happening to you? What's happening around you? Are you really thinking about it? Are you really saying, let me sit down and really, really think this thing through? And so I believe with my brother's passing, I've been able to reassess my own life because we know this, that life is short. We know that, but sometimes we don't think about it because we're so busy doing everything. But I wanted to make sure that Cherisse, get yourself together. Make sure you love. Make sure you are living and giving and serving in the capacity in which God has for you. And so the simple question today is, how are you? Take some time, even when this podcast is over, to think about that. And so I wanted us to do something together so that we could really not just ask the question and I talk about it, but I want you to get engaged to really assess how you're doing. And you're going to do that with my new journal, My Story Perfectly Written, My Truth, Past, Present, and Future. And I want you to get this journal because it is going to answer the question I just asked you. How are you? And you're going to know when you start answering the questions in this journal, when you do this self assessment of your life, where you are, where you've been, where you're going, and you're going to be a better person for it. And so today I was like, I want to talk about this journal because I kind of mentioned it in my podcast, but it's my brand new journal, My Story Perfectly Written. And it talks about we all have a story. We all have lived a life that is worth telling. I don't care where you live, where you're from, how much money you have or you don't have. Okay? If you live on a mountain, okay? Or if you live in the valley, it doesn't matter. We all have a story. We all have something we could share, I believe, that will be a blessing to somebody else. So we've all lived a story, and I believe that we are all bestsellers. Yes, you ever look at the bestsellers list? I do because I'm an author, right? So sometimes I look at the bestsellers and I'm like, wow, look, their books are flying off the shelves. Their lines are long, right? I'm always thinking about, wow, their books are really doing well because they had a story to share. But I believe that we are all bestsellers, that we all have a story to share, and that somebody wants to hear your story. Cherisse, my story is not pretty. I get it. My story, well, nobody will be interested. That's what you think. Because I believe that everything that we go through in life is not just for us, it's not just for me, but it's to share it with somebody else, to help them get through something they're going through, or to help them celebrate just like you've celebrated your life. And so when we share that, when each one reaches one, when each one teaches one, we all become better. So we have a story. We know our past better than anybody else. I know the girlfriend that was once your girlfriend thinks she knows your story. But nobody knows your story, your past better than you. Nobody knows your present, what you are experiencing right now better than you. And then nobody can speak to your future like you can. So you have the power to change your future. And so this book, I know God gave it to me. He was like, Cherisse, I want you to do a journal about your life. And I want you to give people the permission to write their journal, their story, without shade, without without regret, right? Without feeling like, wow, my past is really haunting me. But it has no, it doesn't have the power to do that. Your past is pushing you. Oh, did I just say that? Your past is going to push you into your future, into your purpose, and into your destiny. So this is for you to write your story and not to be judged by anyone. You can write your story perfectly. You know, your life may not be perfect. You haven't lived a perfect life, but you can write your story perfectly. And then, with the help of the Lord, you can change the outcome. You know, I went to a leadership conference this past week with Bishop T.D. Jakes in Charlotte, North Carolina. And I came back so inspired as I listened to people's stories, as they shared stories about their past, where they are, and what they believe they're going to do in the future. I couldn't help but think about my journal. I had to come back and think, I got to let people know that where you are right now is not the end. And where you was is not the end. I always say to people, don't judge me by where I am right now, okay? Because you don't know what I had to go through to get here, and you don't understand where God is taking me. So don't judge the person sitting next to you, okay, in that cubicle next to you, all right? Or somebody might be judging you because you're in the small cubicle right now. But I believe that if you keep on working, you keep on growing, you keep on becoming, that you'll be in that corner office, or you'll have your own office, your own building, whatever it is that you desire, because you are changing your story. So, as I was at that conference and I began to just listen to the success stories, they always started out not so good in the eyes of people. You listen to them, most people came from poverty, didn't have much. I listened to a woman who started out with her business with only $600, right? And then she asked her mom to borrow 900, okay? So she could have her $1,500 deposit for her business to get some things done. And then with a lot of hard work and determination and a lot of no's. Oh, can I stop right there? A lot of no's, a lot of people not believing in what she was doing. Her company is now worth $2.7 billion. I'm encouraged. I don't know about y'all, but I am encouraged. And I loved it because we were told to start where we are. Start where you are right now, today. Right where you are. Start. Believe. Dream. Do. Go. And so I came back home saying, listen, I have the power to change some things. I got to speak to my future. I've got to change some things in my present. I may not be able to go back and change my past, but I can appreciate and honor my past. And so we can do this together with the journal. I want you to get the journal. It is available right now on Amazon.com or Covered in Glam Boutique. Okay, coveredinglam.com. All right, that's where you shop and get the journal. I want you to get it, and I want us to go on this journey together, because you have the power to do this. Cherisse, I'm not in the place. I don't have time. Yes, you do. I want you to make time. I want you to make time. I want you to, every day, okay? Every day, I want you to pick up this journal. Maybe you're going to say, I'm going to do this in the morning after I have my prayer and tell the Lord, thank you for another day. Have your meditation. Maybe the next thing you do is get your journal. Come on. Or, a cup of tea. All right? A cup of tea in your My Story mug. Yeah. Have your cup of tea and begin to write. Begin to share. Begin to dream. Begin to believe. Begin to speak things into existence. That's another thing I learned this week, that people had faith. They believed in themselves. I know they got knocked down sometimes, but they kept going. I mean, even Denzel Washington was there. He shared his story about how he was flunking out of college, right? I think he said he had a 1.7 GPA, and his mother had a beauty parlor, and he was in his mom's beauty parlor because he was on academic suspension. We're talking about Denzel Washington, y'all. And how he received a prophetic word. that he was going to speak to millions of people. And I know at that time, it didn't look like that. You're flunking out of school, you're in your mom's beauty parlor, okay? And then somebody comes in and tells you that they see you speaking and being in front of millions of people. And this is what I loved about his response. He said, and now it is coming to pass. We're talking about Denzel Washington. He didn't say it came to pass. I did it. It's okay. It's I've achieved it. No, he said, and now it is coming. Woo! I like that ing because it means it's continual. He's not finished. There is more that God wants him to do, more people for him to reach. And I want that to encourage you and to inspire you. Honey, we are becoming, we are learning, we are growing, we are maturing. That ing is powerful. That means we are continuing this journey. Your story hasn't ended because somebody said no. Your story hasn't ended because somebody said you're not qualified. Your story hasn't ended because you don't have all the money and all the capital you need now to start the business, to launch the business, okay? Your story has not ended. It is just beginning. You are starting. You are becoming. You are growing. You are sharing and learning. All the INGs are happening in your life because God has a plan for your life. He tells us that in Jeremiah 29:11. And I quote that often because I want people to understand that God has a plan for us, a plan to prosper us. He doesn't want to hurt us or harm us, but he wants to prosper us, give us hope, right? You can have that. We can become all that God has for us. But I want you today to stop a moment, ask yourself the question, how am I really doing? Am I really paying attention to myself? You know, when you get on an airplane, the first thing they do when they begin to show you about the airplane and where the exit signs are, that stewardess, they don't call them stewardess now, flight attendants, right? They tell you to put your mask on first. Like if something happens, they say the first thing you do is put your mask on first. And when you put your mask on first, and then you get your oxygen, what you need to live, then you can assist somebody else. I'm like, okay. In life, we have to put our mask on first. I have to see how I'm doing, how I'm feeling, how I'm growing, how I'm loving, how I'm serving. Putting on my mask first so then I can come say to you, all my listeners, all my viewers, how are you doing? And then wait for a response. Because most times when you ask somebody the question, do you really want to know how they're doing? I mean, or do you just ask because it's the thing to do? It's courtesy to ask somebody. You're in their presence. Oh, how are you? But do we really want to know? Probably not. But the next time you ask somebody that you really care about, how are you? Wait for an answer. And don't let them get away with that surface answer. Oh, I'm blessed and highly favored. Oh, I'm doing all right. No, how are you? What's going on with you? How are you feeling? What emotions are you feeling today? You know, because can I just say it? You know, we grew up thinking you can't be sad. It was wrong to be sad. It was wrong to be angry. It was wrong, you know, all those emotions. It was wrong to smile too much because then you were silly. I mean, we had so many rules about our emotions, and so we suppressed them. We didn't want to, show them. We didn't want to let people know that we didn't feel well. You know, we would try to hide it. I'm just speaking about me. I know for me, I would try to hide it and be happy and jovial all the time. I wanted people to be around me. So if you were sad about something, just hide that, girl. Tuck that away. You don't want nobody wants to hear about your problems and how you feel today for real. So pretend. Ooh. Have you ever been there? pretending to be something that you're not, but you don't have to be. This is going to be your outlet. This journal is going to be your outlet for you to share, for you to write. Honey, you might have to write a couple lines and then get you some tissue and cry it out. Cry it out. But then you're going to feel better. You're going to move forward. That smile is going to come eventually. You're going to be like, yes, I conquered that. Yes, I dealt with that. Yes, I put my mask on first so that I can assist somebody else. And so we're going to go through this journal together. We're going to write our goals. Okay, I'm just going to go through some of the things we're going to do. We're going to write our dreams. We're going to really dig in deep about our emotions and how we're feeling and why we're feeling. Okay, we're going to create a vision statement for ourselves. Yes. Okay, we're going to just write and release, because I want you to do that too. You might be carrying something that's heavy. I want you to release it. I want you then to say, what kind of progress am I making? All of that is in this journal. It's going to really, really change your life. I believe it. I believe that as you continue to write and really get in touch with yourself, that's what I'm going to do. I've been journaling for a long time, and then I go back and then I read it and I feel so good about my accomplishments. And then if I haven't accomplished, I say, okay, put that back on your list. That's something you got to do. That's something you have to make happen. Okay, what's your dreams? You got to get back into, okay, making them a reality. All right. How will your dreams bless other people? How are you serving other people? I mean, all of that is in this journal. You like, Cherisse, it doesn't look like it's, no, honey, this has got so much in it. And I always tell people, get you one or two or three or four. So when you fill one up, you got another one, okay? And then you can keep going, because your life is going to keep going. You're going to keep serving. You're going to keep growing. You're going to keep being a blessing. Woo! You're going to be blessed in the city and blessed in the field, blessed when you come and blessed when you go. When you self-discover who you really are and who God has created you to be, then you won't be intimidated by somebody else's journey. Like I loved going to this conference and seeing all the great people there, the billionaires, the millionaires, the entrepreneurs, the pastors, the singers, the musicians, the authors. I mean, so many people were at this conference from different levels. I mean, there was a king from Africa who was staying in our hotel. Okay. So many great people, but they all have a story of how they got there, what they had to do to get there. But they believed in themselves. They believed in the dream. And perhaps for some of them, they had no idea that God was going to even use them in the way that He is using them now. Perhaps their dream was not to become that, but God can dream bigger than us. Yes, God has a dream that is bigger than you. Think about Joseph in the Bible. You got to read it in Genesis, and how his brothers hated him, threw him in the pit, left him there to die. Okay, then he ends up in Potiphar's house as a servant, all right? Then Potiphar's wife tried to trick him, okay, and he wouldn't sleep with her. You got to read this story. It is something else, okay? And he ends up in prison. Woo! From the pit to Potiphar's house to prison. All those P's, the pit, Potiphar's house, and prison. But honey, there is one final P that elevated him and took him far beyond, I believe, his dreams. He had a dream that he was going to be great, but I don't know if he dreamt this big dream. But he ended up in the palace, second in command to the king. Because I believe that God dreamt something bigger than he even imagined. Yes, he had a dream when he was younger that his brothers were going to bow down to him. But I don't know if he thought it was going to happen that way. And then I thought about all the things that happened to him along the way. Like, think about all the things that's happened to you along the way, on your way to destiny, on your way to purpose, all the detours and distractions and delays. Those are the D words. All the detours, distractions, and delays that try to keep you from getting to your what? Destiny. Preach, Cherisse. I think I will. All those things that try to get you from getting to destiny, but they can't stop you. It can't block you. It cannot, because you are a child of the King. So I'm excited. How you doing? How are you feeling? What's going on with you? Take some time. Get your journal. Order it today, okay? Get your journal from Amazon.com. My story, perfectly written. My past, okay? Present and future. Those are your truths, okay? And don't be afraid to live your truth, to share your truth, to experience it, to honor it. And that's what I'm learning to do. Am I perfect? No. Deal with it. Deal with it, Cherisse. Okay. Do I have everything I want? No. Deal with it, Cherisse. Okay. Sometimes, do you feel like you failed? Yes. Deal with that, Cherisse. It's okay. And I'm telling you today, it is okay for you. Get up. Hold your head up. You know, in the Bible, there was a man that was sick, and he was laying on his bed of affliction. And Jesus said to him, man, take up your bed and walk. Now, he had been laying there for many years. People had passed by him. But when Jesus spoke to him and said, take up your bed and walk, the Bible says he got up leaping. And I'm sure the people that knew him said, wait a minute. Isn't that the man that was been laying here all this time, lame in both his feet, could not walk? And Jesus has come and spoke a word that will change his life and tell him to get up and take up his bed and walk. And now he is walking, leaping, rejoicing. That's going to happen for you. It's going to happen for me. Jesus is saying, listen, I want you to get up, change your words, speak the word of God. Can I put that in there? Speak the word of God. Okay? Speak those things that be not as though they were. That means if you got some turmoil, speak joy, speak peace, speak hope, speak that God is going to do amazing things in your life. So listen, that's it today. I want you to go on this journey with me. I'm asking you the question. The first question in your assignment is, how are you? How are you doing? And I want you to answer that. And then I want you to grow from there, to go from there, to learn from there, and to serve from there. All right, fam, I'm so thankful that you are going to go on this journey with me. My story, perfectly written. Go ahead to Amazon.com or go to coveredinglam.com and get your books. Get them for your groups, okay? Your book clubs, all of that. Your organizations, your churches, your women's groups, your girlfriends, okay? Lati Dati and everybody, okay? Get the book and let's go on the journey together as we journal. That's what I'm trying to say, y'all. Let's go on the journey together as we journal together. All right, until the next time, I want you to make sure that you subscribe and let somebody else know about all this empowerment, all this coming together, this big family that we have. I want you all to be a part of it. And then very, very soon, we're going to have registration open for God's Cover Girls 2022. It is happening in Orlando, Florida, August 18th through the 20th, okay? So if you got questions, go ahead, hit me up on social media. Y'all know where to find me, Cherisse Stevens or God's Cover Girls, any of those places, and we'll answer your questions about the upcoming conference. Until the next time, y'all be blessed. Bye now.